I'd like to take you through a skill called the 5-point check-in. And this is something that once you get used to it, you can do throughout the day because it's so good for our brain and our nervous system to move into present-centered awareness, which is body-centered awareness. It's very grounding for us, and it's very healing for the nervous system, and it helps us move in and out of the two sides of our nervous system into mobilization and into rest throughout the day a little bit more easily. Also, it helps us to get to know ourselves and to respond in a way that allows us to stay with ourselves in a culture that is expecting and encouraging us to constantly be doing or to be doing for others based on our own history and the way that we once kept ourselves safe. This is a practice that helps us to encourage ourselves to respond to ourselves to help keep us safe in the way that we need it now, not in the ways that we might have needed it when we were much younger and not so conscious of self-care and our needs. All right. So you can do this anywhere and any time. This is a formal practice in this case, just so you can learn it in an experiential way. So you can be in a chair, you can lie down on a couch, the floor, a bed, sit on the floor, whatever feels right for you. And the key is we're not changing anything. We're checking into how we are in the here and now. And we'll start with the mind. So imagine that your mind was the sky. And the quality of your mind, the momentum of thoughts, is represented by clouds. So are there a cluster of clouds? Do you feel fast moving clouds? Are the clouds slower? Are they grayer and heavier? What is the quality of your inner sky? And we're letting go of trying too hard or overthinking this. We're just noticing what comes to us immediately. What is the quality of your inner sky? And all of this is just information. This is not bad or good or right or wrong. And again, you're always free to either close or open your eyes. For me, it helps me to close my eyes, but that's not the case for everyone. And next in our 5-point check-in is body. Maybe you start at the top of the head, maybe you start at the feet, and scan your way throughout your body. Not necessarily looking for anything that's wrong, but just observing, just noticing. You might start with temperature, where you feel cooler temperatures, where you feel warmer temperatures, and it doesn't have to mean anything. Again, this is just information. You notice where there's warmer areas in your body. And then let's observe sensation. Simple sensation of aliveness, of pulsation, or sensation of pressure. Again, not good or bad, just information. Maybe sensation that you might define as tension. It's up to you if you feel like you need any sort of tension release, but this is a time that we can begin to respond. It's just such a good practice to be able to identify what's happening within our body and respond. So if you feel an area in your body that's feeling cramped or uncomfortable in any way, maybe you place a hand there. Maybe you allow yourself to attend. If your body feels like it could use a little movement, for me, I'm starting to feel some tension at the upper back. Maybe you move into some movement here because you're responding, you're listening, you're showing your body that you're listening to its messages. I feel like I need some movement in my fingers. I feel like I want to warm up chilly toes. And again, where might hands connected to body feel nurturing? It's an evidence-based practice that can affect the nervous system when we place a hand to areas of our bodies that might require attention. And the next area of focus in our check-in is the breath. You're just noticing. There's no need to change anything. Is the breath shallow? Is it slow? Is it quick? Is it held? How does the body want to breathe? Not what you think you should do. Maybe it feels like time for a big belly breath. And a long, slow exhalation, maybe a straw breath, pursing the lips. Maybe if you're feeling a lot of heat in the body, so a lot of activity in the head, not racing mind, maybe a cooling breath, sucking in breath through a curled tongue or between the tongue and the roof of the mouth. And exhaling out the nose. Or simply just noticing the breath, where you feel it in the body, and what happens as you release it. Next, we check in with the emotional tone that we find. As we continue to look inside, sometimes we can be aware. And it may be that we find surface emotions, the emotions that are more the armoring emotions, like irritation, frustration. Maybe we do feel a lightness and an ease and excitement and enthusiasm. Maybe as we feel a little bit more deeply, we feel deeper emotions that are sometimes protected from the armoring emotions. And we feel a sadness or we feel grief. And again, how can we attend to that? As I begin to talk about emotions, I begin to feel that in my throat. That's kind of my go-to area that can feel sensation and block. And then there's deeper questions that can come from this when we find emotions, and maybe we find many. That happens to me often. I feel like I'm holding many different shades of the emotional spectrum at once. And if it's anxiety and that core emotion of fear, what is my fear asking of me? What is sadness asking of me? And this ritual might take you into contemplation or even journaling. Might ask you to cry or to laugh or to scream or to shake. Processing that emotion, shaking out the limbs of our body. Things that are held in our body, typically held in the core of the body, they can come out through the release systems of the body. And there's so many things that we can do to attend to our emotional tone if it feels like there is something to do, or maybe it's just enough to notice and to name and to acknowledge. You're making up for all those times that we needed those emotions to be acknowledged and they just weren't. And then finally checking in with our energy, more of this esoteric noticing. But we are energy. I mean, this is not a woo-woo concept, but it's more subtle in the noticing of it. So perhaps it's feeling the aliveness in hands and arms, or it's feeling areas of your body where it feels like things are flowing, things are more alive, and then areas of your body that maybe feel a little more dull or dense. And again, no right or wrong. We're just allowing ourselves the time to witness. And close with a big breath in and out. And with increased knowledge of what you need in this moment, what you need today. If the energy felt heavy, is there some brief movement that you could do, that you could find in my program that could lighten things up, that could invigorate, that could inspire? If there was an emotional tone that you didn't expect, is there some curiosity, some deeper reflecting, some honoring of that, an expression of that? Something that wants to be known and integrated and something that wants to be released. When it comes to how your body feels, is there anything that wants to be attended to? And what about your mind? Has there been so much thinking today, and maybe it's time to just be for a few minutes? And now that you have the information, let go of any shoulds. This isn't a practice to add anything else to your to-do list. This is simply a practice to give you information, and that's enough. Move on with your day, or it can help you to set an intention for the day. How can you stay with yourself? Can you continue to check in, even when you're in situations that might be triggering for you with other people? How can you continue to honor your energy and what's right for you? How can you set an intention around where you will direct more of your energy today and how you will reclaim it? Yeah. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know. And I hope you find more resources in this program. If you felt like you needed attending to in a certain way, there are just so many different resources that you can search for and to find. Thank you so much for exploring this with me.